Yo guys, want to make a quick video about something that happened in pre-market twice today on this is October 4th, 2023. But this is something I've been tracking. This is actually something it's a pre-market chart pattern. It's something Trader Thiz told me about many months ago, and I thought that's pretty interesting because I always notice that sometimes in the pre-market, it's like what pre-market shorts can you just almost smack right away? Like you can almost look for a pattern within the first pop, first big pop, and what are some ones where you kind of want to wait a little bit, right? And I mentioned in the BJDX video that trades that have like steady accumulation, right, consistent volume, especially when it's just grinding, is that's usually a sign, especially in tiny float stocks, that accumulation's happening, maybe some type of rigged moved, some games on level two, stuff like that. But this is the opposite. This is a very interesting pattern that I mentioned before that I put it under bearish price action in my Discord, but what do you call it? I might classify it as a pattern. Either way, we saw it twice today. We saw it yesterday. You see this all the time. Where essentially a stock pops usually I would say 40-50%. Sometimes you get real lucky and it pops like 100-150%, but it almost makes its entire move within probably less than 5 1-minute candles. So less than 5 minutes. A lot of times it does it in like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. But you get a big, quick pop that's a pretty significant percentage. I would say at least 40-50%, if not more. And usually the volume on that pop isn't like super impressive. A lot of times it's like, I don't like trading things that are too thin. So if it's something that's like 20,000 shares, 10,000 shares, I wouldn't be interested. But if it's something more like the pop is more like 100,000, 200,000, then that could be nice. So the two examples that happened today are FRLN and IKT. I wasn't awake for this. I have a bad habit of not waking up at 6 a.m. Central for the 7 a.m. trades. And IKT, believe it or not, uh, I had to go to the bathroom, and I was and I was nine. I missed probably the easiest trade of the day, insane dump, but it's real simple. Like this is like you get a pop, decent. It's a decent pop. 1.42 to $2. It's not huge, but the pattern's so bearish that, and this one, I mean, I was not expecting going deep red on the day, um, but this is you'll see this type of like deep fades on this type of pre-market pop, and I think from a liquidity perspective, I'm just thinking that I'm like, why is this so weak? Why? So here you'll see a FRLN, you get a pop in 2 minutes. At most, this pattern makes one more high day push. So FRLN did it, a second high day push. BMRA did it back in August. The one I shorted recently was in September. STSS. Again, this pop from 0.7s to 1.2 is all in one candle. Does like a second little push. A lot of times it's just retail's chasing, the strength. Does one more, and I remember shorting this um, after the high day clear out, right? And as you see, you get big. If this pattern works, you'll get almost instant confirmation. Here's uh, GSMG back in August, 2 candles. This was almost like an 80% pop. The most extreme example was REMB. This is 4 candles, and this is like a 230% pop. A lot of times you'll see this. You'll see either a long trap candle, which is just like the second push that comes right to high day and rejects it, or you get the high day clear out, right? Which is, if you see IKT, push, soak on the 1 minute 9, this failed rotation, right below high day, and then you get instant confirmation. One more push above VWAP, but as long as new highs don't get broken, just assume it's weak. And yeah, I mean, you already see the types of fades, right? Already see the types of fades. And the ones that are hardest are these ones. I remember in August, there was like this one crazy day on the 8th, August 8th, where we were getting like There's like 7 or 8 pre-market parabolics all at the same time. They're all happening in rapid succession, and usually I like to like something like IKT. I like to see the push, and I like to see a second push, whether it's a long trap push, whether it's a high day clear out that immediately fails and starts coming back. I like to see that type of action. So I remember um, NFTG. I mean, these are all on the same day. I remember these just so many of these just went straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down, and a lot of times if they happen that quickly, I'm not in them. But I was in RENB because it gave this candle, which is very nice. But yeah, so this is just one of those. I put it under bearish price action just because um, it's often just a factor I look at, and then I try to wait for some type of secondary push, whether that's a clear out or a failed rotation, like this, right? Um, but it could practically be counted as a pattern. But yeah, my theory was like the reason this is so weak, my guess is that these companies release a PR, and the stock market is especially no matter what time of the day it is, the stock market's very simple. There's an order book represents all the orders that of people looking to sell, and then there's the tape, right? So the tape is and in the pre-market, I think a lot of these big pops happen just because the order book's so thin, right? It's a PR comes out, algos start hitting this, the PR algos start hitting it, or these companies plan this, maybe they're looking at, a lot of times you get dilution fades out of this, a lot of times you get insider dumping out of this, you get a ton of gains where essentially the the company, the rigger, whoever, knows there's not really any liquidity, but they know because of the order book they can pop it up real fast, give a quick pattern, and just start dumping. Right? Um, there's no accumulation. An example of accumulation today was VINO, which did a very very rare, super rare. It's midday, right? It's 11:15 a.m. Super like straight up heavy rig, straight down. You almost never see straight up, straight down on something that high volume. But if you look in a pre-market on, I guess I could just open up my chart. Um, let's see. I just want to show you what like the opposite um, example of this would be. Um, oh, my head's gonna be kind of hidden over here. But yeah, um, you know, it seemed to actually do it over here, but I didn't really like how thin this. Again, like I like the ones that trade like 100,000, 150,000 shares. It did do the quick pop pattern, but this is like I was trading like 10,000, 5,000 shares. I was like I had this open just to have it open, but I wasn't looking to trade this pop or this pop. Wasn't looking to trade it. But if you look at the pre-market, just like BJDX, this like steady, grindy, consistent. Here's a high day clear out short trap, immediately squeezes them. You get consistent volume, consistent, just like my BJDX. Like this is a prime candidate for, short traps for rigging. The float was Vinyl's float's like under a million. They probably reverse split recently, and um, but yeah, very very straight up, straight down. But this is the opposite, right? This type of pattern is the exact opposite. Um, Worth tracking. You don't see it all the time. Also, one of those patterns where you have to essentially be staring at your scanner um, all pre-market, right? Because these don't happen every day. Sometimes they happen often. Sometimes you go weeks without seeing one of these, right? Like here's East. This was 2 days ago. Volume wasn't great. I didn't like that one. This one I thought ACXP was a little better. You know, 3, 4 candle pop, pullback. Here's the long trap. It then immediately fails and it pretty much goes back right to where it came from. So, um, yeah, a little more Discord preview stuff. I'm still figuring out how to get all the roles set up and how to get people to join and all that type of thing, and put a little like video to let people know about it sometime soon. But yeah, more Discord previews. So hope that was interesting, guys. Yeah, kind of a slow day now that everything's going straight down. So, hope you guys have a good one.